up, people? Oops, clicking around. I didn't even need to do that. It's time for this show that's been long awaited. Those of you who participated in the survey for this show, you'll hear the results a little bit. Before we get started too much, I want to say that this show was inspired by an article that hit the internet earlier this week by a PsyD named Greg Matos, board certified couples and family psychologist. I was looking at some of his stuff on Twitter. He's cute. I was like, oh my God, where has he been all my life? But it was really his perspective is very interesting. And so we're going to be talking about that as well as some supporting research and news articles and statistics that I also found online. So get ready because it's going to be a kind of intensive show. We'll be talking about those 5-letter groups, not so much in detail about them, but about their philosophy and how it's drawn the attention of the Secret Service. And, they better be careful because, once those guys start paying attention to your stuff starts getting dismantled and people start getting locked up and bad things start happening. So I think they've kind of flown under the radar, even with the amount of violence towards women that has been the theme core of a lot of their rantings online. But once the FBI, Secret Service, Homeland Security, all those kind of people start looking at what you're saying online, your group draws attention. People start getting investigated. So all these comments they're making about wishing all this violence on women and stuff, I wouldn't be doing that if I were you. I mean, write in your diary. I mean, nobody said you can't think it, but you better be careful about what you put online. That's my warning to these guys because the big guns are after them at this point. So let me get the slideshow working. Oh, oops, I guess I forgot to load it up. My apologies. Let me do that right now. Well, that's right, because I tried to do it from my laptop and it was not cooperating. So I'd have to wait till I get to my desktop. And here we go. Okay, give it a minute, a couple seconds here for it to load up into this platform and then we'll get started. But yeah, this was really interesting. He did some good research. And I thought since we talk, this channel is devoted towards primarily single women. It would be good, I thought, to share this information with you. And then at the end, I'm going to ask you for your opinion. So start forming your ideas. What you think these guys can do to change themselves so that they can successfully have women and relationships in their lives. Don't do that yet because it'll get lost in the chat. Okay, just think about it. And towards the end of the show, I'll be asking for your contributions. You can either call in or you can just type it in the chat and I'll display it across the screen. But that's later. Remember, don't do it now. Nobody's going to see it. Okay, just hold your horses. So here we go. The show is loaded up. Yeah. There's this. That's how you spell his name. You can look him up. The article is on Psychology Today. That's where I found it. And you can look him up by his name. And that's the title of the article. So you can read it for yourself when the show is over. Or you can pull it up on the screen and listen now. Okay, first I thought it would be a good idea for us to define the terms that we're going to be using throughout this broadcast. Because a lot of times people, you hear things, people say things, you hear mumblings about it, but you don't really know what it means precisely. So that we're all on the same page here. Let's talk about incels. Now, incel is an acronym for involuntary, I-N, celibate, C-E-L, incels. These are guys, so I put the definition there, but basically their belief is that because they're men and because we're women, they are entitled to what they want from women, which is, companionship and nookie. They think that because they're men, that they are owed these things and that we have no right to tell them no. And that the reason why we tell them no is because we've all pumped full of feminism now. And before that, in the olden days, women knew their place, knew their role, and they were there to serve and please men. A lot of them, and we hear this a lot in the Black community, promote the idea that, in the 50s and before, women were just skipping around, toasting, tossing daisies, and happy as a clam to be in the house, cooking, cleaning, barefoot, and pregnant. That's their idea of what was a perfect relationship. And they lament the days when our great grandmothers and great 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 grandmothers used to do that, not realizing how miserable those women were and how they had no options for self fulfillment, no money because man controlled everything. There were no laws to protect them against abuse, financial abuse, sexual abuse, um, physical abuse, nothing. There was nothing. They were just stuck there. A lot of times their own families wouldn't even save them from that. They would send them right back to the abuser. So what's become a problem is that in their rage, in the incels' rage of not getting what they want from women, much of the conversation has turned to violence towards women, and a lot of it is not just conversation, it's actions as well. FOID, this is another one of their little acronyms. Femoid, meaning that's like a slur for womanhood. It's used to degrade women basically because it's saying that women are not human. We are robots. We are interchangeable parts, just there, for their bidding. You're not allowed to have your own voice or make your own choices. You're supposed to do what they tell you to do. I mean, I'm gonna save my judgment. I'm playing like reporter today, okay? I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm just gonna keep my opinion to myself and let you jump to your own conclusions. Now, when they want to talk about the beautiful women who they can't get because they don't rate it high enough on the scale, on the food scale, the food chain there, or the guys who get all the women, they're envious, they're haters. So instead of looking at those guys, which is, okay, these are people who are successful, just like you would do if you want to become the owner of a multi-million dollar business. You're not going to hang around with people who's working at UPS or working at Starbucks. You're going to go and emulate someone who has successfully done what it is that you're trying to do. You're going to emulate that person. That's what someone with good sense would do. Instead, they band together in these little groups and they degrade and downplay and try to dehumanize the women and then talk real bad about the dudes too. Now, the dudes don't care because they doing their thing and have women coming out their ears. But these guys hate it so much that they can't get even one date. They can't get even one piece. And so here these guys just like, choo, 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 choo with women. They can't stand it. So they call them Chads and they call the girls Stacy's. And it's done with this very derogatory, satirical tone of voice. Now, global homo is a term I had never heard that before, but they feel like this kind of phenomenon, I couldn't really think of a better word, that is basically out to destroy all cultures. Now, that's supposed to be something. It was really weird because some of them were against this and some of them were, but what they turned it around to want to destroy is hypergamy, feminism, women's rights, that kind of thing. So that was kind of, on there didn't seem to be really any real unification on thoughts on that, but I included it anyway because of the fact that so many of them do, as I said in the latter case, it's they want to do away with women's rights, period, and they want to do away with feminism. They don't want women to have jobs. They want women to have education. Nothing. Okay, those are the standards and the societal norms that they want to destroy with their global homo attitudes. We know you've heard of red pill, black pill, based on the pills from the movie The Matrix. Blue pill, whatever. Okay, so anyway, black pill is supposed to be the most extreme of all those ideologies, and they're the ones that seem to be the most dangerous. They are also the ones, just reading some of their posts, which, did I print those out? I think I did. Just losers. I don't know what else to say. Just losers, just totally like no more get up and go is in these guys. I don't know how. I mean seriously, I'm not angry at them. I mean, I'm like, How do you expect to get anything in your life or change anything about your life if you have this defeatist attitude? Like, what's the point? Because everybody's going to hate me and no girl's going to want me anyway. And you're not even trying. I mean, okay. And then there's something called the 80-20 rule. Um, it's supposed to refer to the distribution of women to men. So some of them, women to men on dating apps and in nightclubs and other stuff, where women can be choosy. So they're going to say 80% of the women there or on these apps or on this site, whatever, are going to focus on 20% of the men. So that other 80% of men will just fall under the radar and no women will pay attention to them. That's their operating statistic. But some of them believe that, 80%, the 80-20 rule pertains to how many men are part of the incel, black pill, whatever pill kind of thinking, but that's not true. A lot of those guys, quiet as it's kept, them dudes that's promoting that stuff, they get money from these fools, sending them money, and they log off and go over there with their wife and kids, and they're not too bothered. But they found a way to get, rile people up and get them to ask some money. So I mean, it's not anything I would do, but I understand why they do it. I mean, if you just want me to take your money or talking smack to you, well, give me that check. Okay, now let's talk about, this is from the PEW Research Center. They're talking about the difference in numbers and attitude about being single between men and women. And this is based on a study, I believe it was published in 2020. Right, it was published right before all this pandemic stuff started coming. Like February in 2020, then everything really hit like March. So anyway, what they concluded is that men, especially those under 30, are most likely to be single. This is all based on the United States. This, for all my viewers in Canada and the UK, I have some information for you later in the show, but this does not pertain to you. This is only with the United States. So about half of men in this under 30 age group, 51%, are single, compared to only 27% of those in the 30 to 49 age group and the 50 to 64 age group. And then 21% of men 65 and older are single. And most of them have been married for a long time. So you see how that is. The older the guy gets, the less likely he is to be single. So looking at these guys in the under 30 age group, which is a lot of what you guys are dating on these apps, you guys are young. Most of those men are single, 51%. So I'm looking at, it's 51%. I mean, that's a lot of competition for them. So what are they going to do to make themselves stand out so that they can arrive in their 30s and beyond with a mate? And I'll be getting, like I said earlier, I'll be getting your ideas on that later in the show. Do not type it in yet. Wait, please. Now, by contrast, women are more likely to be single later in life, right? So the guys are single when they're young, under 30. The women are most likely to be single when they're older. So women 65 and older, it's like switched. Under 30 for men is about 50%, and for women 65 and older is about 50%. Isn't that interesting? While girls in the 30 to 49 age group are the least likely group to be single, only 19%. So what does that mean? That means a lot of those younger women are being partnered up with older guys. That's what that means. Why would that happen? Because the older guys have something to provide. The younger guys don't. And judging by what a lot of them put online, they're not trying to either, because they're sitting there shivering in fear that somebody's going to take their 22 cents for child support or alimony. And so they would rather not, talk about being married. But okay, if you're a woman in this 30 to 49 age group, but usually, 30 and 30 to 36 or something like that, they want to be married. They want to have a serious relationship. They want to have kids, and they don't want to just be a baby mama. They want to have a husband. So if you guys are afraid of getting married, but you're complaining about you not getting no women and no nookie, don't you see how that might be off-putting to a girl who is focused on those things? You're going to be eliminated from consideration off the bat. So stop complaining. You say that you don't want those things. Well, then don't think that some girl who does is going to be wasting her time with you. That's why you get rejected. I have a whole bunch more reasons later in the show up, but I mean, I just needed to get that out. So based on these statistics, that's the number one reason why no girl takes you seriously and don't want to be around you. She don't want to date you because you wasting her time. She ain't trying to sleep with you because you wasting her time. She's not trying to talk to you because you wasting her time. And then you get mad because you can't get nothing from her while you waste her time. Y'all need to wake up. Now, what was also interesting, eHarmony did a survey that came right around the same time as the PEW Research Center study did, and they're saying, now, eHarmony tends to be older people. Let's just get that out the way before we're like, okay, they tend to be a little bit older, and a lot of people are drawn to that site because they are looking for a serious relationship. But it was really interesting because they did a survey, and 21% of the men said that this is in the COVID times when people weren't really going out and weren't really meeting people, was having like Zoom dates and stuff. 21% of the men surveyed said that they really were interested in starting a new relationship as soon as all you know, the restrictions were lifted and people could go out and, be in restaurants again and go to bars and all this kind of stuff. Because remember when all this stuff was closed down, you couldn't get nothing. You couldn't do nothing. You had to cook at home pretty much. But look at this. So that's 21%. That's almost a quarter, right? A little more than 20%. I mean, a fifth. By comparison, only 8% of the women expressed feeling that way. Women were quite content. I found a picture of a girl. Women were quite content with, being around their friends and family and just doing their thing. Going back to school, taking online courses, doing all kind of stuff. They wasn't really sweating men too much because they had other stuff to do. So I thought, wow, that's really interesting. And keep this in mind now, this mentality that I just showed you right here, this is just important as we move through this show. Okay, but this is the most important part right here. Never before in the history of this country have women been matched up with men and able to go, for the most part, toe to toe. Not all. I mean, generally speaking, women do make less money and, that kind of stuff. Generally speaking, in lower paid positions. But the sheer volume of women who are not in those positions and don't have to be in those positions anymore has skyrocketed. Women, especially in the Black community, are making more money and have more education. Statistically, in the United States, Black women are the most educated demographic, the most going to college. Black females over any other versus white men, white women, everybody. It's Black women. So when you're looking at, men who are used to women being downtrodden and saying stupid stuff, and the women don't know any better, so they're like in awe of the crazy stuff he's saying. So those are privileges that men don't have anymore. So now what it means is when they come at you, they have to come with something. They have to bring their A game, and a lot of them are not capable. They're not equipped to do it. And that's what this psychologist was talking about, the skills that men need to develop in order to be competitive in the dating market these days. They're just not ready. They're not ready, and they're mad that they have to get ready. That's the part that's so messed up. And the other thing that really messes with them is that the part where women can they want to shame you for having an active eggplant life. They want you to, I guess you're supposed to be sitting at home twiddling your thumbs like this, just waiting for them to walk in. I don't know what they expect. But the idea that a woman has some experience in different relationships with different men, they don't like that. They want to call her the S word and the B word and the W word and all kind of other awful things because she has more sexual experience or probably is better at it than he is. And when a woman has that kind of background and see this is the real deal, let me just be blunt. I like to do things. It's not based on the fact that she's done those things. What it really is his fear that she's had better than what he's going to deliver. That's what it really is. And now that women are not getting married and stuck with one man for their whole life, they have the opportunity to compare skill sets. And a dude who doesn't have a good skill set in that area will be dismissed. That is something that we'll talk about a little bit when I go over the survey results that we did here. So that's what makes them so angry. You know, women have options in that direction now, and we don't have to get married to get it anymore. So, that's why Liz Taylor kept getting married, because she was from that generation rather, where you got married before you could, get busy with somebody. So, girlfriend, every time she wanted to get busy with a new person, she got a divorce. That's how things used to be done in the olden days. Now you don't have to get married. You don't have to marry the pig to just get a little sausage. Okay, so let me look at some of the reasons why this author, Greg Matos, I put it in a nice little graph here, why he says that men are lonely. He came up with three. The number four was me. Okay, standards. I kind of hit on that a little bit earlier. The standards. Women have more standards now for what they're looking for in a relationship, what they want, what's gonna make them happy long term. And they have enough confidence in themselves to not just marry the first thing that comes along, so they can have the little sausage like women used to have to do in the olden days. You had to get married. And so you didn't really have that much choice. Women don't have to do that now. They provide for themselves. They go to college. They have great jobs. They own businesses. They do what they need to do for themselves. So getting married is like icing on a cake that she has already baked herself. She's not looking for a man to be her cake. And so guys resent that because it makes them have to do more work. So when a woman has standards where she's meeting a lot of her basic needs herself, you got to come in the door adding to what she already got going on. And a lot of these guys aren't at that level. They can't, they're incapable. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. Here's the point number two is what I was just saying is that the guys are lacking. They're not good in bed. They don't communicate well. They play too many silly little games. They're immature. They're lazy bums. They don't want to pitch in. They're opportunists. Homosexuals. All kind of stuff be going on out here in the single dating world. But these are the kind of things that a woman with confidence and who knows what she wants, because she, number one, has standards, is not going to choose you. You might get one date or a couple of phone calls with her, but she's not going to choose you to be with because you're lacking. You don't have the skill set that it takes to maintain or even start a relationship that's going to be rewarding and considered healthy for her. So a lot of these dudes just get shot down from the gate. Okay, then he pointed out, I don't mess with the dating app, so I don't really pay too much attention to what's going on with them. But I do hear what you guys always say, and I haven't heard anything good yet. But he says that men are overrepresented in dating apps and that 62% of the registered participants are males. Now, as for what I've heard from you guys, a lot of those shouldn't be there because they're married, but they're still on a dating app anyway. They're infringing on the space of the single guys. So that's something that we can't do anything about that, and neither can you single dudes, but just be aware that that is what's skewing these numbers to make them so ridiculously disproportionate. And then my thing is, I don't ever like to present a problem without a solution, or at least some ideas of solutions. So I will be asking you for yours later in the show. But that's when, what's it going to take? Dudes, what's it going to take for you to step up and change your way of interacting with women? Change your way of how you talk to women. Change your way of about yourself to make yourself more desirable to women. What are you going to do to increase your romantic market value? Because right now you at the bottom of the barrel and ain't nobody checking for you. All right. Let's move on. Some more numbers from the PEW Research Center. I just love them. They just have everything on that site. It takes you a while to find what you're looking for, though, because they have so much. But every time I do something, I need some good statistics, I go to that site, starting from when I wrote my book on the Black church. So they're talking about, they're in their latest study. I think it was released in 2021, 2020, whatever it was. Anyway, they did a report on singles. It was a couple of years ago. And they found that most single adults in the U.S. are just happy being single. They're not too bothered. Of the half that are not looking for a relationship or even dates, I mean, having important priorities and enjoying being single are the top of their reasons why they're not looking They're not even checking for dates. We have a lot of women here like that. They're like, oh, I'm done. I don't even want to date. I don't want to be bothered. I want to just do what I want to do. So, men are often looked at by women as being exhausting, draining, energy vampires. They need stuff all the time, want stuff all the time. So, dudes, women look at you and they don't want to be bothered, no matter how great you are in certain respects. So, you got to come in the gate. What is going to make her want you? And that's what guys don't realize. The market has changed. Women have standards, and women are looking for you to figure out how you're going to add to her life and her existence in a positive way. If you don't do that, then she has no interest in you and no need for you. They always try to put it down to money, though, and say, well, they just gold diggers. They want money all the time. It's more than that, and we'll talk about that when we go into our study results a little bit later. So then we flip over, and so those are the ones that are content being single. And then on the other half are those that are, they're cool being single, but they really want to have a relationship, right? They do great. They're looking for a relationship or at least some casual dates. They're looking for a partner. These are the people that are 40 and under. Wait, I'm sorry. The daters younger than age 40 are less likely than older daters to be looking for only casual dates. Because they feel like they have a lot of time to settle down and stuff. But I don't know. Some women, by the time they get in their 30s, they start looking, their biological clock starts ticking. So if they want to have a kid, they start, seeing, well, let's get this show on the road. So they might not be looking for something casual. That might be where the men come in and skew the results. Okay, so now let's go on and talk about what exactly is it that women want from men. Why are these guys having such a problem with meeting women's basic needs for a relationship? Where is the disconnect? What do women want that they're not getting? These are the top 3 things that came out of the research I was doing. The number one thing that women 25 to 45 are most likely looking for or desire the most, whatever I'm trying to say here, is a man who is emotionally available. Emotionally available. That means he's willing to be vulnerable. He's willing to be open. He's willing to share what he feels. He's not playing silly little emotional games where they do this thing like, okay, so they like you, and rather than just say, I like you, well, how do you feel about me? Coward. Or they play, if they say something and, they're trying to test and feel around by playing these little games, how attached you are to him or something. I can't even remember some of the games right now. I'm sure some of you do. But basically, they're trying to test how much power they have, how much you like them, how much willing you are to go out of your way for them, do stuff for them, all this kind of stuff. Those are all tests to see if it's safe for them to be emotionally vulnerable to you. A lot of them will do the test and still not be emotionally vulnerable. They're very protective. They hide. They don't want you to get to know them. I done told you guys about my friend. I had her husband, and they were married. And she was trying to get his opinion about something. I don't remember. I was there that day. And he finally just got so fed up. He said, "Get out of my head. I don't want you to know what I'm thinking." And she had the Pikachu face, like, and because he just flashed on her, and it was that protectiveness, that wall shot up, and he did not want to let her in. And so, a lot of times when I would see her, I was like, okay, they're married, but she's very lonely in that marriage because he couldn't really be emotionally intimate with her. He was too walled off. And they got married so young, she didn't know to look for that at that time. I wonder how they doing now. But she didn't know. So I'm not gonna say it's her fault or anything, but he's a good provider and all that stuff. All the other things he checked, smart, college educated, all that kind of stuff. But he was not going to be emotionally vulnerable to that woman, and it didn't matter what she said. Women are also looking for men to be good communicators. Oh, what did I do? I messed up something. Anyway, I copied that from something. I don't know what I did. But anyway, they want a man who's willing to share his thoughts, his feelings, be truthful in his communications, answer the questions honestly, give her full information, not just talk, around stuff. or leave out important details, which is basically lying by omission. They can have good conversations, and at the end of it, they can resolve problems and discuss issues in their relationship and stuff, and come to some resolution without yelling, screaming, name calling, shutting down, stonewalling, all that kind of stuff. Narc behaviors, none of that. Open and honest communication with the goal to resolve problems and treat each other with dignity and respect while you do it. That is a challenge for a lot of guys. They just shut down, or they want to start calling names and stuff. It's important to them to win versus resolve the problem and protect the relationship. And then the final thing that we're strong, the highest thing on women's list, is that they have a man that shares similar morals and values. No game playing, no corner cutting. Looking towards, defining the relationship and moving forward. That's what women want. They want to be stagnant. So these dudes who want to, give you a ring or not even do that and then stay engaged for 25 years and all this kind of stuff. Nope. That's not the similar value. Dudes would be pressing for a woman to have a baby, but she wants to be married before she has a child. Not similar values. A woman who wants to be married before she buys the property, but he's pressing her to buy a house before they get married. See, not similar values. Guys who want to do all this strange, freaky stuff with numerous outside folks and stuff and then bring them home. Not similar values. So there's all kinds of things that I'm not talking about religious. They can talk about equally yoked and all. I'm not talking about all that. I'm talking about stuff that would apply to anybody of any culture, of any race, of any sexual orientation, though we're talking about women right now. From any place in this country, any religion. These are the core values these are things that women are looking for, irregardless of those things. All right. So we're going to ask the question here. Why are so many men single and angry about it? I mean, it's one thing to be single. I had this uncle, he was a perpetual bachelor, and we just really liked him. And then he got married to this woman, and we all wondered why. But before that, he was cool. He had like all the girlfriends and a nice car and a nice place, and he was a chef. And I mean, my Uncle Bill, he was fine. So let's talk about that. So these guys are angry and they're single. He wasn't, but okay. Now this is what I was talking about at the top of the show. The Secret Service, they have a division called the National Threat Assessment Center. They track terroristic types of threats, whether internal or external, in concert with Homeland Security and the FBI. And they've been looking at the recent incidents of mass violence where, these guys are going into places and shooting up places and running vans into intersections and going to college campuses and, doing stuff with the co-eds like Elliot Rodgers. They're looking at those kind of things. Okay, these things have gotten their attention, just like the school shooting finally did. But they're looking at, this kind of ideology, which also sometimes includes racism and homophobia, is a threat to half the population of this country. So they feel like they have to do something. So, the investigations have already started. It's going to be interesting to see what comes of this. What are the premise of I just put the asterisk pill because there's red pill, black pill, blue pill, whatever, orange pill, whatever they are, the asterisk dot pill groups. These are the primary focus, primary, what am I trying to say? Thought processes of these groups. They feel like some men are biologically predisposed to never, ever be able to have love or eggplant with a woman. There's just, like acceptance, defeatism. That's what I was saying. It's basically defeatism, and that's what they feel like they could never find anybody. And it's because of their DNA. Ooh, Lord. Okay. They also think that looks and status are the only thing that matters to women, not personality. Okay, well, dudes, but you don't have no personality either. And don't you understand, if you don't have any looks and you don't have no money, and you look like a bum and you smell funny and you dress weird, well, there's not too much about you that's going to get a woman's attention to want to hang around you long enough to find out you do have a good personality. It's just like going fishing. If you've ever gone fishing, the fish, you just put a bare hook out there, the fish is just going to look at it and be like, what? There ain't nothing there on that for me. I'm going to keep on going. And then down the weight over there is a hook with a big old fat juicy worm on it. Guess which one the fish is going to bite? It's not going to be your bear hook. So, if you want to catch a fish, in this example, where the fish would be the woman, you have to catch a fish. You got to get a fish what the fish wants. Okay, y'all don't want to do that, and you just want to get together and complain about not catching no fish. Well, that's your problem. Use the proper bait, and you can catch a fish, or two or three. Then they're mad because they feel like women control the world, and that women manipulate men through giving or not giving access to our bodies. Well, let me put it this way. Let me just clarify this for you. We don't owe you shit. Okay, now if a woman decides that she wants to share herself with you, then that's something that she would do. But again, you would have had to earn that privilege. Okay, and you feel like you being manipulated. Well, again, we go like back to my fishing example. She's the fish. You want the fish on your hook? Guess what? You're gonna have to get a fish what it wants. You don't want to get a fish what it wants, and you feel like that's manipulation. Well, I don't know what to tell you. You're gonna be mad at every fish in the world because it didn't get on your bare hook, and feel like the fish is manipulating you to make sure that it gets some worm. The fish is manipulating you. You sound like a fool. Then their final complaint they always on railing on and on about is feminism. The fact that women have rights and choices and can tell them no, they just feel like that's just the worst thing ever. They just want women to need them so bad. I remember who was the president then? Somebody, George. I don't remember who it was to tell you. I think it was that George person. But anyway, when he did away with was trying to cut back on welfare and all this kind of stuff, these brothers was gleeful. Now keep in mind they don't want to pay child support anyway, and not realizing that the government having this welfare was to their benefit. So they wouldn't be like broke and sitting out of pocket. These women, the kids could survive well, even with their little $14 a month child support payment. But they were actually excited about the woman losing their Section 8 and losing, AFDC. No thought at all to the fact that these kids would be homeless and hungry. They didn't care about that. Their whole perspective was that the women would have to come and choose them because they would need a place to stay and they would need other stuff. It was the most bizarre thing. I read those things online myself and I thought, wow, these guys are serious losers as they feel like that's the only way that they can get a woman is if a woman was in dire straits and desperate, then she would pick them. Okay, so now let's talk about why can't these guys find a woman? What's the problem here? What is the issue? Let's lead in with this, okay? Because I just want to read a lot of people coming in and out of here. Okay, what incels are the ones who are involuntarily celibate. That's what the acronym is for. As I understand it, the term was created in 2003 or 1992, something like that. I forget now. But anyway, it's been around a long time. I didn't hear about it myself till probably about 7, 8 years ago. But anyway, they all get together. But from psychologytoday.com, the incel movement by Sam Louie, I follow him on Psychology Today. I like his writing. He has this, but it also allows for a perfect storm of not only self-hatred, but vitriol, rage, and a desire to inflict harm on others, whereby victims can also experience firsthand the grief and suffering that incels feel they've had to endure for a lifetime. That's why they're so mad at women and they want women to suffer. Because they want us to feel in their little wicked minds, they want us to feel the pain that they felt, the suffering. Never going to happen, son, because we don't trip on you like that. As the earlier slides pointed out, we just don't be tripping on them like that. But I thought that was interesting, and I They had to put that quote in there too. Now, let's talk about some of the things that might be impacting. Um, I mean, it could have an impact on why some of you singles are struggling more than others to find somebody who's a good match for you. So, this is going to apply to both males and females. The states with the highest ratio of males to females. So if you want to find a husband, the chances are if you go to one of the states on this slide, you have a better chance because there's more men to women. So this is in Alaska, there's 109 men to each 100 women. But who want to live in Alaska? Okay. I can't do cold. By the time it gets to 50 degrees, I'm like, oh, that's enough. I can't even imagine. North Dakota, 105 men to every 100 women. Wyoming, 104. South Dakota, 102. Colorado, 101. Hawaii, 101. Idaho, 101. Some of these, it might be because they have like in Hawaii, they have the naval base out there. A lot of, soldiers, naval officers and whatever they call them. Yeah, I can see that. Idaho 101, Montana 101, Nevada 101, and Utah 101. So those are the 10 states with the best ratio of males to females for a woman looking for a man. Now, in reverse, if you're a man looking for a woman, those are probably not the best places for you to be. You're going to have to up your game because the competition is more fierce there. Okay? On the flip side are the states with the lowest ratio of males to females. So for men, this puts them in an advantage because there's more women than men in these states. And for women, though, if you're looking for a husband, it's going to be reverse what I just said. You're going to have to up your game because the competition for one of the available men is going to be a little stiffer. District of Columbia, 90.8 men to each 100 women. That is the worst place to be. 93.7 in Delaware, 94 in Mississippi, Alabama 94.1, Maryland 94.2, Massachusetts 94.1, South Carolina 94.1, New York 94.4, North Carolina 94.8, and in Georgia 94.8 men to each 100 women. And as we know, especially around the Atlanta area, just because it's male don't mean it's into women. So that further complicates the statistics. But just keep those in mind if you live in any of those areas, lady, and you've been struggling trying to find somebody, you might want to move. Now let's talk about Canada. I also have some stats for the UK. For my Canadian visitors to the channel, the rate of male to female population of the total population, so we don't know whether they're single or not. This is just males to females. Their latest statistics are based on 2020 survey census. 98.54 males per 100 females. So that's not too bad. That's not too bad. But it's fallen from 102.9, so that's almost 103 males per 100 females in 1950. So why did they have so many more men then? To less than 198.54 in 2020. So I thought that was really interesting. I wonder, I couldn't find, I didn't really have the time to go and spend looking for it, but I was curious. Thanks, Giggles, for what was, the reason for that. That's kind of interesting because, there hasn't been like any wars or anything. That's usually what takes a lot of young men out, but that hasn't been the case. Now, here we go for the UK. They did a census. The latest numbers that I could find was based on 2011. I guess they probably did one last year, but the numbers aren't out yet. That would be my best guess because every 10 years, right? So women and girls make up 51% of the total population of England and Wales, and men and boys make up 49%. So 51 and 49. So that's pretty close. Most ethnic groups had roughly the same number of males and females in their population, but there were a larger female than male population amongst the Chinese, Black Caribbeans, and other white ethnic groups, where women and girls make up 53% of the respective population. That's pretty good because for the Chinese, because in China it's bad. It's just millions of men, so they would do well to go to the UK then. There is much larger male than female population amongst the Arabic ethnic group, where the men and boys make up 58% of that group's population. And amongst people who identified as any other ethnicity, it was 54% of men and boys. So that's pretty high. I know, and when you look at the world statistics, which I did a few years ago, the countries in like Saudi Arabia, some of those countries over in there, Yemen or whatever, they have, I mean, the number of men to women like 45 to 1. It's just crazy how many men there are to women. So now we're going to talk about the results of our poll. Why did you guys reject these men? What did they do that made them get rejected? They didn't, when you vetted them, they didn't make the cut. Yes, this was a lot of work. Ugh. Let's go through this. In the study we did, 100, we got 100, well, actually it was 101, but I just used 100 of responses. And this breaks down the percentage. Now, the reason why the numbers don't add up is because each respondent was able to answer, to choose five of the options. And then they could, if they had a comment, they could also write something in, which I will be sharing some of the write-in comments later. What's the problem? Hold on a second. Okay, give me a second. Thank you. All right, gone. I guess Shay couldn't make it today. Hold on a second, you guys. I'm looking over here. DP, can you fill in as a moderator for today? Just to keep the fools at bay. How do I do this? Oops. I don't know how to do it. I think I have to go on YouTube to do it. Oh, that's too much trouble. Never mind. I'll just try to keep an eye out if I see anything going on since Shay's not here. All right, let's get back to this. The top 5 reasons on our poll, okay, so that's why the numbers don't add up to 100% like you would normally think. So 51% of the women who responded chose number 1, plays too many games and not serious. That is seen to be a huge problem with men of today. They don't come in the door being serious, and the women don't want to be bothered with you. The second highest group was 48.8%. Well, that's all, damn near 50%. The men were emotionally unavailable, which I described a little earlier, that they're closed off, they're guarded. It's hard to get a clear and direct answer out of them. You ask them a question, they respond with a question back to you instead of giving you the answer. All kind of silly stuff goes on. The third highest group at 40%, where the women found that they had incompatible values and or morals. That's a big one. I mean, it's like a foundational need that you have to build a platform to have a relationship on. Number 4 is the guys displayed some narc all about me behaviors and attitudes, selfish, self-centered, not really showing interest in their partner, making decisions for the partner that ultimately made her feel shut out, all kinds of things. So that was 38.8%. And the final one, rounding out the top 5, 33.8% of the women responded to this one, that the man was just too immature and had a failure to launch kind of Peter Pan, eternal little boy type of attitude. These are the ones that want you to take care of them and nurture them, and they still live with their mama and they're 40 and all kind of stuff like that. Those are just a few examples. Now let's move on and cover some of the other stuff, because there were so many good responses to this survey, and some of the answers, these were the top 5, but some were just dead on and very close. So let's talk about those. At 32.5% came in inconsistent and emotionally unsafe environment. So with him being flaky and stupid, she didn't feel safe, being vulnerable to him and falling in love and sharing herself and all of that. So she got rid of him. A lot of men, I think they don't even understand when they're being. If the woman can't depend on you to do what you say you're gonna do, and you just be flaky and stupid, well, who in their right mind wants to be bothered with you? That's some just juvenile, retarded behavior. Okay, those that have poor communication or listening skills, they can't remember nothing you say, or you say something, somehow it gets twisted around in their brain into something else, and it becomes a problem. And you're constantly repeating yourself. I can't stand it. The dudes that are they're just lazy bums, just underachievers, no get up and go, no desire for more, better, greater. They just totally perfectly happy with the status quo. And if you're a woman who's a go-getter type, and you trying to be greater later, you need somebody who's gonna be driving the train with you. Not somebody who'll be sitting in there just like driving Miss Daisy while you do all the work. That's not gonna work. Dudes that are cheap, stingy, selfish, them ones that want you to go 50%, half, go on dates and go Dutch. See, they immediately get eliminated from my world. I'm like, I'm not dealing with you. I'm not gonna do that. When you are unmatched, they call it equally yoked in the religion. But you're unmatched with the guy. You're out of sync financially. You make way more. You're more educated. Whatever it is, your social standing is more. Whatever it is, he's not at your level. The women, on a couple of dates or phone calls would figure that out, and so they would dump the guy. You got the ones who just looking for a place to stay. They can the ones who want to move in as soon as they meet you. Within a month, they want to be at your house all the time. You guys that are boring, you don't really have no conversation. Everything that you say is about sports, uh, some booty. What else they be talking about, y'all? Something, nothing nobody want to hear anyway. So it's just no conversation a woman wants to hear. It's just boring. They don't do anything. They don't want to try anything new. You don't want to go nowhere new. You're just boring. You don't have nothing to talk about, and you just depend on her to carry the workload of all the conversation and entertainment and everything else. No, that's too much work. Or you find that he's not looking for the kind of relationship that you're looking for. You want something serious, and he just want to play around and doodle, 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 doodle all day long. No, we're not going to do that. And this is not even all of them. These are just the ones I picked out. There were some that only had like 2%. One, like 3 people picked it or something like that. But whatever. The ones, and I thought this would be higher, but I guess we didn't run into these many guys who did this. The ones that are emotionally and verbally abusive. Look how high that percentage is, though. 22.5. Cheaters, liars, angry or crazy is 20%. Delivering up bad D, I'm telling you, that'll get you really, get you kicked out real quick. You're not really physically attracted to him. It's like, he might be a nice guy. I mean, a lot of women say he's such a nice guy, but there's no interest in like touching him, getting busy with him, kissing him, stuff like that. It's just not there. So, I mean, on paper, you should be a match. There's nothing really wrong with him. He could be a really nice guy, but he's just not the right guy for you. But a lot of guys feel like, well, look, I showed up, I got a job, I got an apartment, I got a degree, and I've never been to jail. Why aren't I good enough? It's like, because there's no heat. Just like you want a girl that you like to be all touched up and hugged on, women want that same thing. And if the physical attraction is not there, Jude, it's not there. You can't manufacture it, and you can't wind your way into it. It's either there or it's not. Go find somebody who thinks you're the cat's meow and wants to be all up over you. But this chick here is not that one. Now, the ones that come in with the abuse, the addictions, and abuse, that's the dudes that's on popcorn sites all the time. They always high on something, drunk. Nope. And then the final two, 7.5% each, is his personal hygiene was way off. You showed up on the date stinking, hair all messed up, clothes dirty, looking like a fool, smelling like a garbage dumpster. Or your family and close valued friends met him and was like, oh, girl, no, you cannot. They start pointing out stuff that you maybe didn't notice, red flags you didn't notice. And so you like, oh, shoot, let me get rid of this fool. And so you do. Thanks, Winning. Let's move on. Now I wanted to share with you some of the comments because after this, pick one check boxes, I always like to provide space for women to share their thoughts, things that aren't necessarily included in the survey, but perspectives that are important to round out the total picture for whatever the topic is that we're talking about. In this case, I don't know, about 10 or so things I pulled out. But I thought this was interesting because this is an issue that a lot of black women have when they find the guys, are into this thing where women need to submit and they want to be viewed as the breadwinner and all that stuff. Well, dude, you don't have no bread. I mean, she's pulling down more loaves than you. And then so if a woman is already stable and you can't offer her better or more, then you're not on her level, like I said. And so you need the trash in these cases takes itself out. So she says when they find out that she's got her own home and has her own car and she's in school and she has a job and plus she has a side business and she's raising her child, they see that she's out of their league and they just get intimidated because their career is driving an Uber. Oh no, I didn't even see that part. Or Lyft, and they're having a hard time keeping their place that they have with roommates, and they're 37 and I'm only 27. They play too long. Exactly. It's worse than that. Where's Sunday? Sunday is a nurse, and she can tell you about, and somebody else we hear who works in a nursing home, and they can tell you about what them old men being there just, have just tricked away their whole life doing stupid stuff or being in prison, and then they get out, can't get any job except for driving Lyft or Uber or something like that. That doesn't, they weren't in jail for anything like violent or anything because then they can't get hired at all. But, just something stupid. And so it makes it difficult for them because they don't have any education, not really. So they can't, there's certain jobs they're just locked out of. So they get into stuff like that. So I thought, wow, that's interesting. She's only 27. And this one says that the guys just weren't thoughtful. They lack in the romance department. They don't have any creativity or imagination when it comes to planning dates. Sometimes I was the one putting more thought into what we could do for dates than they were. There was a couple of times I haven't been physically attracted to them in the league. So yeah, that's my thing. I just take one look at them like, next. She feels like she's running to guys who suffer from colorism. That's what this is called for people who are not African American and you don't know these terms. When somebody black is looking at you and picking you based on the color of your skin tone, and they might feel like your skin is too chocolatey, then they will reject you. They have a lot of prejudices about that in the African American community. That is a carryover from slavery. And when I hear people who have that mentality, I just feel sorry for them because it's like you are so ignorant and you don't even know your own history. That's where that comes from, because the people that had made it with keep in mind this is against their will. Now I'm using made it politely, just as a polite euphemism, because that really wasn't their choice. So they made it with the slave master, the slave owner, whoever, and had these half white babies. Well, those were the slave owner's kids. So he would put his children in a better position, most likely in the house, out the sun, doing housework. They would wear clean clothes and they would get better food than the people that worked out in the fields, which tended to be, according to history, the more chocolatey colored skin people, African Americans. So there's this long-standing beef about skin color and resentment that some people have, and putting people who are bred with whites on a pedestal, because making it seem like they're somehow better. We as African Americans are supposed to be past that. Unfortunately, there's a lot of them for whom that remains their reality. It's very unfortunate and very disappointing, but she's experienced it personally, and so she's sharing her thought that way. These comments were the women just made one-liners versus a paragraph or so. Yep, that top one, that first one, the male podcast ideology, who that they're talking about. No name shall be mentioned. I'll have to delete you. Hold on. Let me scroll down here and make sure I'm catching up with everybody. Okay. I'm trying to keep an eye on the chat and do this at the same time. It's hard. Okay, so she caught him lying. Someone was stupid. All of the above. I wanted to check all of all of the options. Or he was an emotional cripple, inferior. Oh my, she went in. Okay, now back to some of the other comments. He didn't complain. He didn't court her, complaining about taking her on dates and being cheap. Oh my God, wants to get busy without being in a relationship. No, there's people in that line of work, sir. Go pay your $25 or whatever it is and make the magic happen. Don't be wasting nobody's time with that. She's like, her dating life's better now that she doesn't date black men exclusively. Okay, well, she say anymore or not exclusively. Oh, he wasn't. He was into the poly life. Oh no. Oh no. No. Talking with his guy friends too much. Oh. Oh. He wasn't masculine enough, wimpy and whiny. Oh yes. Oh, that's so unattractive. That's so unmasculine. And she feels like guys have weak egos. That's true. They always want to have the upper hand. That's true. They want to put you down to kind of elevate themselves by standing on your head. That makes them feel better. So they come in the gate putting you down and negging you and all these things that they promote on these stupid male podcasts and sites. And I don't understand when they're telling guys to do this kind of stuff. What is your goal there? These guys say, on one hand, they say, I want a girlfriend, I want a wife, I'm lonely, I'm tired of being by myself. But you listen to men who tell you to say things that are going to be hurtful to women and drive them away from you. What are you doing? Are you even thinking about what you're doing here? Nothing about that. Remember what I said. Keep the fishing analogy going here. She's the fish, and you want to get her on your hook. Now, you think you're going to do that if you have some old rotten, nasty stuff on your hook? You're repelling the fish. You ain't drawing the fish to you, sir. So you listen to them idiots that tell you that kind of stuff, you're going to be lonely and single forever. Because no woman is going to put up with you making those kind of comments to her, negating her and all that stuff. You think that's going to draw her to you and make her have warm fuzzies about you? She's going to put you down as a raving idiot. That's what's going to happen to you, and you're not going to get no play. Because nowadays of social media, people have your pictures and they have your profiles and they have the share button. So you think you only doing it to her, sir? Please believe. By the time you act a fool with one, that means 100 different women in your area know about your idiocy. You need to get your shit together. Okay? All these games and stupid stuff. I don't know what these dudes are thinking. They just don't be thinking about what's going on here. It's insane. Okay, and she says the majority of men just lack self-awareness. They don't even have a clue what a healthy partnership is. That's true. And then a lot of them, they feel like you need to tell them. You need to, you know, train them on what to have, how they want you to, how to treat you. No, get on Google University, read a book, ask your mama, do something about yourself. Don't look for a woman to teach you how to treat her. Get out of here. And you in your 20s, that's something some little teenage boy 14 might ask somebody. You 32 and you still chasing around asking women to let you know how they deserve to be treated, and you don't know that, you'll be single and in your mama's basement playing video games and watching popcorn sites for the rest of your life, because that's going to be about as close as you get to a woman. Don't be stupid. And she says, she said, I don't know any man who gets this. I'm telling you, I know what you're talking about. They're chasing the fantasy of what a screwed up society tells a woman should look like and be. Exactly. Oh, she went on. This is a two-part one. Oh, they just were trying to use you. Oh, I don't think this was the next one. Okay. And quality women have done their inner work and know their worth, and they're not going to settle. Exactly. They don't look at themselves. Exactly. That's what I was pointing out. They don't want to look at themselves and examine, okay, why am I repelling women from me. What is it that I'm doing wrong that makes women not even want to talk to me, let alone date me? And just sleeping with me is just such a far-fetched fantasy. It's like completely like, woo, way out there. What is it that I'm doing wrong? And instead of looking at themselves objectively or even asking some women they trust, like their sisters or aunts or something, what they could do to improve, instead they get online and join these other losers on these in these groups and rant and rail and go and beat themselves up about why they're justified in staying as losers that they are, that repel women, and how women should want them anyway. No, that's not going to happen. Okay, you should know that by now. That's not going to happen. No matter how much you wish and hope for, it's not going to happen. But on the other hand, they say they want a wife, they want a family, they're lonely. But then you act like this. How does that work? I don't get it. How does that work? We don't need a man. She's right. We don't need a man. And so they just going to continue to be lonely and single and die angry. And there you go. Oh, this one says she had a guy who gossiped about other people. They lived in the same neighborhood. He's gossiping about the neighbors. And he's trying to get you to spill the tea? Oh, no, because you know that would be you on the hook next time. I can't stand gossipy men. They want a good woman, but looks are everything to them. They pass up wonderful women every day because she doesn't look like a dime piece. Yep. They want a woman. Let me just put it. This is what I said the other day on What the Fuck Tuesday. No, I guess it was on the DNN on Friday night. These guys grow up and they never change their image of what they used to whack off to when they were a teenager. So in their mind, that is imprinted like a baby duck. That's what they think they have to have. That's what they think they deserve. It's like, have you looked in a mirror lately? Have you looked at your ever-growing belly? That balding head, that beard that looks like you glued it on for a Halloween costume? Those teeth, them grilled, his teeth sitting all on top of each other. You ain't seen a dentist in 20 years. You got stuff growing on your teeth. Your breath is foul. You haven't cleaned yourself thoroughly with soap water and a scrub brush. It's just, you just foul. You foul. And you think somebody wants you. Get a clue. Yeah, this women, they don't, you're right. They don't come in a glamorous package, but these guys aren't glamorous either. You know, you got to, if you're not going to be glamorous, you got to have something else. Like, look at Jay-Z. There ain't nothing about dude glamorous. And, ooh, I'm telling you, I wouldn't care how much money he had. He could not talk to me, don't look at me, don't breathe in my direction, nothing. But, you know, Beyonce was happy with him, and so there you go. But he didn't have looks. I guess he has a decent enough body, though. He seems like he's pretty athletic. But, you know, just no. This was scary. But, you know, she was happy with it. But you know what he had? He had fame and he had fortune. So you don't have no money and you don't have no fame and you got a stinky body and a bad attitude, you ain't never gonna get nobody. Never. Now, these guys have the nerve to be lonely but complain. These are their chief complaints, right? These are some things I pulled off of, I think I was on Reddit, and I went looking at some of their little troll postings and stuff. They just hating on women. They complain about women taking their money, all 52 cents of their little chump change. So they don't want to spend the money on a date. They don't want to pay child support, and they're afraid of alimony. So that means that even though they claim that they're lonely and want to have a family and stuff, they don't really, because it means that they would have to take the risk of having this happen to them. Whereas if they got in a relationship and they were emotionally available, they were good communicators, and they delivered some good loving, they wouldn't have to worry about their wife leaving them. But since they know they're lacking in those areas, they know the only reason a woman would get with them is because of some money. Well, that's where this comes from. But then they get frustrated because they don't even have any money. So it's kind of a weird conundrum. All right. Or they say that women, they resent the fact that women have to ask. Well, what about feminism? Why don't women ask me for dates and take me out? Because you know, to get that kind of treatment, you have to be like a 7 to a 10. You a 3.5, my brother. You gonna have to ask, pay, do everything, because you have to balance the scale. Unless you're going to try to date a 3.5 woman, well, then she might do that for you. But you all, your eyes is peeled on the 7, 8s, 9s, and 10s, and you think that you can just go in there and she gonna pay the date for you. No, why would she do that? She's got dudes who are 7, 8s, 9s, and 10s who want to go out with her and are willing to pay for her and put her on a plane and do all kind of stuff, buy her bling, all kind of stuff. That ain't you. So don't be mad because she doesn't look at you because you don't provide those things. You have to start though with you asking. You got to ask. Okay, then this is the one the brothers constantly talk about. The white boys don't use this phrase, but they talk about the same. It's the same thing. They call girls the S word, the W word. Um, hmm, I can't think of anything. But anyway, brothers refer to it as being run through. They want a woman who hasn't been run through. And they're mad because she got some from somebody else who wasn't them. She giving it to somebody who wasn't them. That's what they're mad about. Because you notice the dudes who have sexual confidence, the men who have a lot of women, they never say that. They never complain about a woman's experience. They just trying to figure out a way that they can enjoy some of it. But these little angry dweebs who haven't seen any cooch except on a screen somewhere are mad that somebody got some and it wasn't them. That's what this is. So they just very angry and they just resent women. And so in order to make themselves feel better about not getting no cooch, they want to call her all kind of foul names. But guess what? That's going to guarantee you ain't never going to get none. You need to shut up. I did a video about why men need to shut up. It's on this channel. You should take a look at it. It gives you even more, a deeper explanation of why closing your mouth when you're around women, when you want to be saying stupid stuff, is the best option. Then they be ranting and raving about, oh, we should get women from the foreign countries. We're going to Brazil. We're going to China. We're going to wherever. Because Western women suck. They have too much freedom. They have the right to reject men. Oh my God. They're not submissive. They're not obedient. They're not friendly. And they're feminists and they demand all this stuff. So, they have this strange idea that because a woman is Asian and they play them stereotype games, and they gonna bring them girls over here, and then they get raked through the coals and they wallets get looted. Then they try to figure out what happened when they sleeping on a park bench because she done took everything and went back to her country with it. And then but they want to say, well, it's Western women. Yeah, well, she played that role. She got you good. She waited till she played that little demure, submissive, I don't know nothing. And, oh, you my king game until she got her name on them accounts. And then suddenly, all of a sudden, things change and you become, they be working, they, motherfucker. And with their little accent and stuff. And these dudes just don't get it. It's like the stereotypes that you have of women from, Southeast Asian stuff are just that, stereotypes. Stop being stupid. If you're going to deal with the drama, just deal with the devil you know versus the one you don't. Y'all don't. I know too many Asian women that just roll their eyes and play that game until they get in your wallet. And then suddenly they be turning them out. Yes, girl, on the park bench, I'm telling you, with some burlap covers. And then the final thing they want to lob at women is, well, besides the thing about, you're going to be dying old with some cats. They want to say, well, we don't really need you anyway, that you women are obsolete. We have video games and we have free popcorn and we don't need you. Yet they're lonely and they want to have women and a family. Please explain how any of the things that these dudes have on their list of frequent complaints is going to draw a woman. It's going to make her want to be with you. Who's going to create warm fuzzies and fond thoughts of you. Make her want to pick up the phone and hear your voice. Make her want to text you and just say, hi, baby, how are you doing? Make her want to drop everything and run to see you because she misses you so bad. Tell me how any of these attitudes and these words that y'all be saying all the time is going to make that happen. You are your own worst enemy. You are creating the loneliness and the pain and the agony and the life that you're having with no nookie. You're doing that to yourself. You have a fucked up attitude and it's going to keep on being just that way because you need to change yourself. You need a reality check and I'm here to give you one. Now, this is where the part where we start taking your comments, ladies, your comments. For what you think are some of the suggestions for men to not be single and lonely. If you want to, you can click this. Hold on. Oops. You can, if you want to talk on the video, like if you have a lot to say, it's easier to just talk. You don't have to show your face, so nobody's going to know it's you. You just click that link and you can join the show here live, or you can type it what your comment is in the chat. Be sure to do at meet my name so it gets my attention. It's going to show up in the yellow thing. Otherwise, I might not see it. Okay. So what you're going to be doing now, this is the part of the show where you guys join in. You share your suggestion for what ideas you have for men to not be single and lonely. What can they do or change about themselves so they can be successful with women? Like I said, you can either type it in the chat and I'll display it across the screen. Hopefully I'll catch it. Or you can click that link and just be live on the air. Oh yeah, where's my microphone so I can hear it. So I don't know who wants to call in, some brave soul. Probably most of you would just put it in here. Gotta pay to play, and yes, women make the rules, exactly. Unfortunately, dudes, that's very true because women have what you want. They don't. It's not about what they want to hear, Lisa. This is a part of the show. If you have a suggestion, make it. If not, then that's fine too. But it's not about what they want to hear, because even if they don't want to hear it, they're here. So obviously, they do want to hear it. You see what I'm saying? They're here to. They just want the one to know that they want to know it. But it's not the kind of thing that a man is going to go out and ask, because unless it's like a close family friend, a sister or something like that, he might ask her. But in general, they're not going to go out into the public realm of the internet and say, oh my God, I don't know what to do to get a girlfriend. Can you guys help me? No man's going to do that. He's not going to do that. So this is an opportunity for you, if you have something to contribute, to say it. If you don't, then that's fine. It's not somebody trying to force you. But, this is your opportunity. Don't wait till the show is over and then start trying to send me emails. I'm just going to delete them. This is your opportunity. Do it now or forever hold your peace. Okay, let's see. Intensive therapy to learn interpersonal skills. Hold on, Lily. Let me put my microphone on. Oh, shoot. Where's the end? Yes, we do. Hold on, Lily. I'm coming. Okay, Lily.
Hi, Deb.
Hey.
Please excuse me if I'm a little hoarse. I'm a little sick. But I think what men need to do to improve themselves is to first see women as human beings and not a servant, a slave, an item to be used and exchanged. And I feel like it doesn't matter what race of men, they all kind of see you as an option or an accessory or something to help them out in their lives. And I feel like if men were more competent, like learning how to cook and clean, and even if they don't want to cook and clean, they can get their income up to a level where they can afford a cook and a maid. Women, I don't like, personally, I think it's a loser mentality that you have to emotionally and mentally and physically break a woman down to get these things for free, instead of being a man and actually compete against other men for resources so you can get these things where you don't have to lift a finger. And that's just one thing. And go to therapy for real. I think that a lot of them don't have a lot of self awareness They don't
Yep.
know how to regulate their emotions. They don't have decent self-esteem. They don't know how to live by themselves and be comfortable in their own presence. And I honestly think a lot of men don't like themselves. Like they hate themselves and they need someone to drown out their existence. And that insecurity also spills over into other women's life. I'm an example of that, where their insecurities will tear you down. They will do any and everything to get you down to their levels because they're jealous and insecure. Um, like everything in the show, get your game up, get your physique up, your style, your money, your self-esteem, your mental health. You'll be fine. You can easily compete out here for women. And the thing is, I don't speak for every or for all women, but it's like I'm not looking for like a superstar. I'm looking for a decent human being with emotional intelligence, that loves themselves, that can take care of themselves, that wants a partner, that's, just a healthy human being. I don't care about this 6 foot, this and that, and the third, a baby leg, none of that. I'm a little older, so looks are not important. Character, integrity is important to me. A person's dreams, um, goals, values are more important to me than their looks, because looks fade as we get older. And so that's all I have to
Those were
contribute.
excellent, excellent, especially when you brought up the emotional intelligence. That's a very big
Um,
one.
by the
I
way,
should
by the
put that
way,
on the
Deb.
survey.
By the way, Deb, I've been listening to you for a very long time, and you've changed my life. I don't say much. I'm like, I'm always watching your show, but for the last 5 years, you've helped me develop
Oh,
a lot, for real.
oh, well,
But
that's
yeah,
good. Thanks for telling me. I mean, I liked it when people, the success story and people feel like their life has been improved by my craziness.
you're not crazy. You're not. I feel like you have a lot of life experience, and if women or people in general, just women, just actually everything you have said so far in the last 5 years have come true. Like I can just watch the game being played in front of me, and you're
Mhm.
giving away for free. So I'm so thankful that you're taking the time out to help young women like myself do better for ourselves.
Thank you. Okay, thank you for calling. Let me get
No problem.
Jackie B. Let me get you on here. What's going on, Jackie?
Hey Deb, hey
Hey.
fam. I just wanted to come on here because I felt like it was necessary. Um, Everything that the young woman verbalized before my call, I wanted to piggyback. And I just wanted to say that from my perspective, I'm 38 years old, and I feel like this dating market has been a total disappointment. Nothing that I expected is has been the reality of my experience. I feel like I was prepared for a life that with a partner that the opposite sex was not. I
Hmm.
feel like everything that I have to offer, I want from someone else, and those are even the most basic things, which is what the young woman before me was describing. It just seems like these men are not ill-equipped to be able to offer that. Yet they want everything from a woman. And the buzzword now, that S word, submission. I just wish someone would just throw it out the window because these men have no
Girl.
context. They have no right to ask for a woman to submit. They have absolutely no idea what it is that they're asking for in the context in which they're asking. What they really should ask for is a yes woman. Yes, I will follow you off a bridge. Yes, you have nothing to offer, but I will still show up for you and I will ride and die for you. Yes, yes, yes. And I'm not here for it. And I encourage all women who are happily single, who are making the best of their lives, despite the fact that Nignogs and Dusty are just on every region, you know. I encourage you to hold out, because the more that you hold out, the more that you will be able to better yourself, the more that you will have to offer, and the more that you will be able to reasonably demand. So thank you, Deb, for all of your work. And ladies, just keep pushing.
That's right. Thank you, Jackie. All right, Miss Kitty. Let me get you on here. Okay, your mic is live. What's going on? Oh, I have some connection issues here. It's just spinning, spinning. Okay, let me get you in a minute, Miss Kitty. Let me get Tone Oracle.
Oh, Tori, can you hear me?
Oh, Tori. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't see. I don't have my glasses on. Yes, I hear you fine.
Just like the other ladies, I definitely wanted to add that you literally helped me uninstall the patriarchal software in my subconscious mind that even makes me care about men, but and not in a mean way, because you really do add such a beautiful spiritual element to it. And I will download whatever program you having. As far as my suggestions for men, I'm 36, right? I would say that they need to get off of social media. Get off of, because they're always looking like Miss Kitty said, the grass is greener on the other side, and they really do feel like they are the value. Like, I'm single, and at first, before I start watching, I don't even know how I found you, but I'm so happy. But my heart used to be hurting because I thought, oh, I
Oh,
should be a wife and all this stuff. But then when you start, I will fall asleep to you. Like, you are my goddess. Like, I would listen to all your videos. But yes, men need to get off of social media. One man, I'm 36. I went out with a 55-year-old man, owns a business, single, one daughter, by himself. He said I'm too young, but he's liking young girls' pictures. Like, women on social media really stop men because they really feel like, as long as I have money, I can go get the woman that I want. And by that time, they're old. By that
exactly.
time, oh, I'm
Don't nobody
sorry.
want you, little blue pill taking fool. Sit down somewhere.
They don't think Deborah, my queen, they do not feel like they are old. They do not feel like they are old at all. That's what I've been running into. And I'm not a person that uses dating, and I meet guys everywhere. They really feel like women should pay for them, and that their penis is, like, especially black men, their penis is a solution to all our problems. It's holy grail that you just need to get dig down and everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And that's how they live. That's why they single, because young girls allow men to do that to them. Like, oh, well, he knows a woman's body. I could be intimate with him and she could be intimate with me, and I don't need to get married. I don't see the value in having a wife. They do not feel like black women are valuable like that.
I just don't get it. I don't get it. People have been saying thank you, so thank you, God, all the guys that want to put it on, like each one. But I just want to acknowledge everybody's blessings and sharing of their, what they learned from the channel. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. So thank you,
You're
Tori.
definitely going to heaven. I can't
Oh,
wait to see. You're going to be up there next to Jesus. I swear to God. I know you're gonna be up there. I love you so much. Like, you are the bomb.com. I'm sending you and all the people in this chat so much love and light. And I just love you. I tell everybody about you. I shout you out on everything. Like,
oh,
ladies.
thank you.
So I love you and have a great evening.
I will do that. Thank you very much.
Okay, bye.
Okay, let's get Miss Kitty. Let's see if this is gonna work now. Miss Kitty, you. Oh, I guess it didn't. She's gone. Oh, she's gone. Okay. Okay, let me go down here and figure out some more. Let me do some more your comments across the screen. What? Yeah, I don't know what Tosca. I'm telling you, Tosca. I don't get it either. Why they feel like all these guys are chads, because really they're not. Some guys, they have, like I said, they have power, or they have some kind of social standing that some women are after. I mean, it just depends on where you are in life. That might be a come up. You know what I mean? I For some women who are really, really, at the bottom or near the bottom, I mean, they really struggling. They get a dude who's got a steady job at FedEx or UPS. I mean, that's a come up for them. And I'm not saying that those are bad jobs. I'm just saying, there's just certain kind of women that are not, that guy's not going to be on their radar, even though he might be a great guy and all that kind of stuff. He's a blue collar worker. And some women just don't want a blue collar worker. They want a guy who's as professionally educated as they are. And they have every right to want that. Hold on, DP. Let me get my headphones back in here. Okay, Diana.
Hi, Deb.
What's happening?
Hi, nothing. Enjoying my Sunday. I'm so glad you're having this conversation.
Yeah, it's
It
been a
needs
long
to be
time
had.
coming.
Yeah, it needs to be had.
So what's your suggestion for these dudes to get their stuff together and get this woman in the relationship that they claim that
My
they want?
suggestion is they need to, their words and actions need to match. That's the problem. They always talking about what they want, and they want this, that, and the third, and then they get it, and then they turn around and they gaslight women into thinking that they did something wrong, but they gave you what you asked for. They don't tell the truth. They need to level up. All this, I want a boss chick, I want this, I want that, but then you're not offering anything. And
Right.
women are sick and tired of it. And all this low wage earning stuff, we in a recession. Ain't nobody finna take care of you. Don't a woman want to sit up here and let you use her to supplement your income because you don't make enough money because you chose not to go to school and level up so you could have a higher earning potential. Like you can't want caviar and champagne and you got water and presso money. Like that's not reality. And they
It's
also
not.
need to learn how to listen to
Gas was
women. They
six
don't
dollars a
listen.
gallon. Come on now.
Well, it was 10 in Mendocino County, so I'm just like, what you talking about, sir? There was a station in Mendocino County that gas was $10 a gallon. Deb, I was like, oh my god.
No, I'm going to be like Fred Flintstone and
Okay,
motor
or go
my
get
car
look,
home.
or go get some roller skates and be like, let's go. Yeah, no, they need to get it together. And my thing is, they have nothing to complain about at this point because that this whole article that we're discussing, they're the reason why they wrote this article because you guys put all this negative stuff online, and women was like, "Oh, this is how we doing this. Okay, well, we finna act accordingly. We're gonna choose better, choosing ourselves and not choosing you. So you can go sit over there and you can cry in a corner."
I think that's what's so shocking to them because, along with the societal change, well, this is worldwide, where women are getting now more educated than some men, in some countries than women, the men are. They're making great money. They're owning businesses. They're having political office. They're doing things without men. And so this is the first time that that's happened where women are overshadowing men in many areas, and the guys can't take it. They've used to being in power and having all this reverence and stuff by default. They didn't have to do anything to earn it. They just were the men, and so the way patriarchal society is set up, they get all these kudos and accolades for and power and reverence and whatever just because they're male, and they don't understand that things are changing. You don't get it because you're a male anymore. You have to prove yourself worth her time and energy. And if you don't do that, it's not gonna happen for you, and you're gonna be die single and lonely. Women have options now.
Exactly. And they want to try to throw that we can go to other countries. It's like, okay, go to another country and
Bye.
keep wait, keep bringing them super STDs back here that the medicines here don't even cure. Keep doing that because that's y'all bringing that back here. And we
Hmm.
supposed to be mad? Yeah, bye. Go take your STD ridden poverty pain over there and create problems. And then when their men come for you, like with the laws and like with the overturning of Roe versus Wade and how child support now starts in the womb at conception. Yeah, I think you need to get your life together and worry about what's really important instead of all this other stuff. Stop worrying about what women are doing. You need to worry about what you're doing because y'all gonna end
Exactly.
up dying alone in a hospital or in the streets, and ain't nobody gonna give a damn about you.
That
And
would be
that's what I have to
nice.
say about that girl, because that's where they headed. Because some man was trying to talk to me in the library, and he was homeless. I was like, if you don't get out my face,
Ew.
yes, ew. And he smelled. I was like, boy, you better go on over there to Glide and get away from me. I'm trying to finish my schoolwork. Get away. I can't
Thanks,
help you.
Diana.
All right, bye.
Bye. You know, you know what I was thinking too, because there's like thousands of them, right, in these online groups. if they started some kind of like investment club, how to invest in real estate, how to play the stock market, did something educational and advancing in the leadership of these groups, right? Because each one of them has like moderators or whoever started it or whatever. You know what I mean? That person's in a leadership position in the amongst the group. Why not organize the group instead of focusing on hate and rage and anger issues? Start focusing on bettering these guys. Teach them what it is that they need to know. You have a platform of men ready, willing, and able to listen and hang on to every word that you say. This is for a man who's a leader to step up and take charge and could turn around 10,000 men's lives if someone would just have the courage to do so. That's why I say most men are followers. They're followers. They like gangs. They want to be in the army. Notice how few men make it to lieutenant general and all that kind of stuff. Major corporal, very few. Most of them are just, dudes on the line, just following orders. And so they like that kind of thing. Men are generally just followers. When you have a guy who's not, who's a leader, who's willing to be courageous, go against the grain, do something that other ones aren't doing, say no when everybody else is saying go. I mean, this guy is a leader. There's so few men who really are, that they're always afraid of what other men are going to think of them. They're always afraid of looking, who's going to look at me and who's going to think this and that about me. If you're a real leader, you don't think about that kind of stuff. You just do what you're going to do because you know it's the right thing to do and it's what you need to do. And so you do it. That's leadership. We don't see much of that. These groups get together and they are all losers together. And what I'm saying is, anybody hearing this, if you are a dude and you have some knowledge in this area, instead of feeding into that stuff, go on there and say, look, I know y'all are mad. Let's start this thing about how to be a gentleman, how to dress, how with a workout group. Let's do something that's going to change us to be more interesting and desirable to women. Let's have some women come in here and talk to us. And you're not going to say nothing because I'm going to turn everybody's mic and the chat off and you just going to listen. That's what's going to happen. Stuff like that. I mean, take a leadership position and help these young men because they're lost. Think about how many men in American society are growing up without a dad. They don't have any man that's worth anything in their lives telling them how to be a man. They're really lost and confused. So they're looking for guidance on what manhood is and how to execute manhood. And they're learning it from fools. So you just 10 fools then created 100 fools, and now 100 fools created 1,000, and on and on. So somebody out there has got to step up and start taking charge of teaching these guys something, especially the young ones under 30, and turning them around. They're still young and they can do it. They can become wonderful husbands. They can learn how to be in a relationship. They can learn how to talk to women without playing stupid games. They can learn how to be, focused and driven and how to prepare for a more better career and stuff like that. Learn how to do some household repairs, things that we typically think of as men. This is stuff that men do. This is stuff that women want to see their men do. But these guys, there has to be some kind of way for something to happen. Oh, let me get you on here, Angelica. Hold on a second. I didn't see you. I was on my soapbox. So this is something I think about a lot. Like, where is the leadership? And you see the dudes that's in the leadership position, and they're just spouting rhetoric and horrible stuff about women, and it's not helping these guys change themselves for the better. Okay, let me hey Angelica.
Hi Deb, hi Chad.
What's happening?
Not much. I was definitely one of the points you were just talking about was something that I was going to say. I think a lot of the older generation of men, they set the younger generation up for failure. They purposely sabotage them. I think a lot of them are actually jealous of younger men too, because there's a lot of opportunities that younger men have now with technology that they didn't have. And I seen it personally at my workplace. An older Black gentleman, he's like, you know, he's like in a mid-level position, but he now has an opportunity to hire employees, and he noticed that one of his, you know, employees got the sexual attention of a younger lady employee. And it came time for it was like a pilot position to open up. And I'd say the younger black man was qualified, and he purposely hired somebody off the street instead of promoting him. And, you know, they're really chatty. They're chatty Cathy's at, you know, my place of work a little bit. So, you know, they kind of talk about each other in a way. And it's just like, I definitely see that a lot of these older men, especially black men, they're not setting younger black men up for success at all. Even like, you know, if you want to look in the celebrity world, a lot of these young rappers that are getting killed, they're getting killed by really young men. Like, the older people are setting, you know, the younger guys up to do the dirty work. They're like 19 and 20 and 21. They don't have their lives, you know, even started yet. So I think you're right. I think older leadership is what they're looking for. They always respect the words of older men. I mean, you already know the content creator that they looked up to. That just shows you the state of affairs on them looking for a daddy.
Yeah.
On the other end, I think a lot of them haven't come to terms that they're having issues with their sexuality. I think a lot of them are attracted to, you know, masculine energy in other men, and they don't know how to, like, they don't know where to put that. And a lot of them react in a really angry way, and you can tell how hateful they are to women, that you really just fundamentally, there's no way possible that you can like women like with the things that you say and think. So I think they need to come to terms with, you know, maybe they're swinging for the wrong team or something. I don't know, but that's all I
I think
had.
they
I
haven't
always
admitted it
appreciate.
yet. You're probably right. Okay.
I think
Thanks,
so.
Angelica.
Thank you. Keep up the good
Okay.
work. Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye. Yeah, you guys, you have a lot of great comments. It's just hard for me to just catch them all. Exactly. They see women, yeah, or they have men in their lives like uncles and grandfathers and mama's boyfriends and stuff like that. But the men aren't teaching them anything, or it's like Angelica just pointed out, the men are putting them in a position where they are not really. They see them as competition. That is a problem in some of the foreign countries because uh, the women, they have dowries and whatever, and the women used to have to do that, but now they don't have to because the guys, there's such a demand for a wife that families don't have to put a dowry to get somebody to take their daughter anymore. There's people bidding for their daughters. Well, we can put her in this house. Well, yeah, but we can give her this car and all this gold and this and that. So it's an interesting turnabout, and it's even affecting those male-dominated type of societies. So things have really changed a lot worldwide in this respect. I'm thinking, I don't know. It's things are just really getting bad, and the persons that need to change to keep up with times are men. Men need to adjust their belief systems and their behavior if they want to have somebody in their family to, have their children and carry on their family name. That's why I constantly press upon young girls. Do not allow these men to rent your womb and they're not offering anything. You having a child is an honor. It is a distinctive honor that should not be given to every man just because he accidentally got you pregnant. That's what, do everything you can to keep from getting that way. And if you can't do it, then you got that morning after pill. You better dive to the pharmacy and get it. Better yet, keep some in your nightstand at your house. So as soon as you even think something funky went down, you pop the pill. Or if it becomes something situation where you didn't do any of those, you better get your butt on a bus, a train, a plane, or something, and go to some place where you can terminate. Since we know the Roe v. Wade issue, that you can't do it everywhere like you used to. Yep. Because it's like you got to think about how many men are always crying about, we need a leader, this black man. We need a leader. We need a leader. Lead your damn self. What's wrong with you? So that's why, when I hear this kind of stuff and then I watch their behavior, that's how I came to the conclusion that most men are followers. They do stuff even in groups. Like the worst thing ever is to have a son who doesn't have his own mind, who's a coward. Because if you put that son in an environment where he's around some little thug fools, your son's going to end up in juvie or prison because he was falling behind some other people and didn't have the courage to do like the little kid did. Remember in Boys in the Hood? He was riding with him and then he woke up and said, wait a minute, I'm going to be in prison. I'm going to be. And he got out the car. Remember that? That's how you need your son to be, so that he knows right from wrong and he sticks to his gun and he follows his walk. But so many young boys just don't have the courage to do that. It's very important to them that they get the approval of other men, more so than they get the approval of the women that they claim they want to be with. You can't have it both ways, my brothers. If you're going to get approval of women, you're going to have to turn your back on all these different dudes. And you're going to have to change yourself to present yourself in a way that women find attractive. You're going to get the ribbings from these other dudes. They're going to call you a simp, a wimp, the stuff they do to put men down who prioritize love and romance in their family. They call them horrible names. But you have to be a man enough to be able to turn your back on them clowns and realize they're just jealous because you're getting something that they want too, but you have it and they don't. So they don't think like that though. They're like, oh, my friends are going to tease me. When did teasing ever make anybody die? Come on now, get it together. So that's it for the slideshow. And that discussion, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Yeah, this guy, Greg Matos, The Rise of Lonely Single Men. I saw somebody make a comment, I didn't put it on the screen, that said that other people were talking about this article and that the guys attacked him for it. Really? I don't know. I didn't see that because who's in Vanna? Vanna's like my research assistant. Shout out to Vanna Phil because she definitely helped me with the material. I didn't have time to go out and do search for everything, but she's always sending me good links for good stuff. And so I said, Vanna, I need some help. And so she found me some stuff, so I just had to go and print it out. And she's the one who sent me this article. And I thought, wow, this is a fabulous topic. And shout out to Dr. Matos for writing this. Even though the article is not that long, it definitely sparked some conversation that we needed to have about how society is changing and men are going to be left behind if they don't change. It doesn't make sense for all these young men to not have a girlfriend or a wife. So that means the problem here is you, dude. All these girls, that's what they want. So what's the problem? What is it that you're doing wrong? Just look at yourself. I mean, come on, let's be honest here about what you could improve. There's something about everybody that we can improve. I mean, as fabulous as I am, I know I could improve or lose some weight or do something, which I am doing. Because all my months of inactivity could barely walk and stuff. I put on a few pounds, but I'm losing it, getting my strength back and stuff. So by next summer, I'm going to be back in my fly state. But, we can all do stuff to make ourselves look better and be better, more competitive in the dating market. So that's what I have to say. Remember, thanks you guys for coming and for all your contributions. So like I said, I like to present a problem and discuss it, but I also like to present possible solutions so that if nobody leaves here feeling like there's nothing they can do, they have options. They say, okay, yeah, I could do that. I'm going to try that. You know what I mean? So it gives people a little bit of, it uplifts their spirits. Yes, you guys are in a bad state, but we're sitting here telling you what it is that women are looking for. All you have to do if you want a woman is do those things. Figure out how to do those things and give women those things, and then you will have the girlfriend of your dreams, a happily ever after wedding and some little babies that look like you, and then you be on about your business doing what you need to do. So the next show we have here is on Tuesday. We'll be having our What the Fuck Tuesday relationship advice live stream. If you have a question that you'd like to submit to What the Fuck Tuesday, there's it is. You submit it by clicking the free advice link that's in the show description down below. Or, I need to change this, you could navigate to debsterism.com and there's a form there that says get advice. Anyway, either way, it takes you to the same form. There's a link in the show description, or you can go to Depsterism, same name as this channel, Depsterism.com, and submit your question there. Not every question is chosen, of course, but try to make it interesting. Don't go into a whole bunch of detail about your personal life and all this. And he said, and she said, we don't need all them details. We want to know the scoop about what the problem is. Okay, what is it that you need my advice about? What is this problem that you have that you need a solution to? Focus on that, because I do 25, 26 questions every Tuesday. So I don't be on here all day. So try not to just go overboard. But other than that, yeah, we'll see you guys then on Tuesday. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you learned something, especially young men listening. And thanks everybody, all the ladies who responded by participating in the survey and responded to the show by sharing your thoughts about what these young guys should do to become better men. I appreciate everybody, and thanks for the kudos and the love. I'll see y'all on Tuesday. Bye-bye.